A very good day to you all out there, my esteemed listeners. My name is Joa Gafie, and this is History and International World Affairs Explained. The past few days has been tensed up by the words coming from President Trump, and the words have been shaking the financial markets, and prices of essential commodities like oil have been fluctuating up and down due to the type of news that comes out from the White House. Um, Donald Trump, the President of America, has in the past few days said some certain words that have gotten people really scared. Um, Personally, for me, I have never heard a president of the United States coming out to use these strong languages on the people, as the Iranians, who have never in any way attacked the Americans. Like we all know that this war against Iran is being pushed out by the Israelis. Now, in the early April of 2026, in a primetime address from the White House, Trump threatened Iran with extremely severe military action if Tehran didn't meet US demands. Key elements of his statements included saying the US would hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks and bring them back to the Stone Age. This phrase means degrading or destroying critical infrastructure like power plants, bridges, and systems that sustain modern society, not a literal geological return, but an expression of total devastation to society. Well, if it could be sugar coated like that, we understand one thing, that destroying all the infrastructures of a country like that is going to lead to massive migration. Definitely, people are going to want to leave that land. Many are going to cross the Mediterranean Sea to Europe, which will now create more problems for the Europeans. And the Americans will be nowhere close to having such a problem. Now, asserting that the US forces were on track to complete military objectives very soon while offering no clear exit timeline from the conflict, using strong ultimatums tied to reopening the Strait of Hormuz and diplomatic conditions, with warnings that failure to comply would lead to widespread destruction. These comments have been widely reported as aggressive, dramatic, and historically unusual for a US president. As a historian, I've never come across any US president using words like this. Um, the only president that I've heard that have used these words, um, reading his books, documentaries on him that I've watched, and movies that I've seen on him, is Adolf Hitler. I cannot believe that in this epoch that we are, a president wants to do this when he's not supposed to be directly in to be at war with such a country. Now, the perception of inconsistency, comes to us Trump's critics and analysts identify several forms of inconsistency or contradiction in his rhetoric and actions. 1. Contradictory timelines and goals. He has sometimes suggested the conflict will end very quickly or within a few weeks. Yet, in the same breath, he threatens protracted escalation and large-scale destruction before any exit, implying different objectives at once. Media have noted this as shifting or unclear goals. 2. Mismatch between words and facts. Many fact checkers and analysts say Trump's assertions about Iran's military status or nuclear capabilities don't match independent assessments. He has also claimed Iran requested ceasefire or negotiations, that Iranian officials claim that they don't know anything about such. 3. Shifting tone. At times, Trump has tried to reassure markets or US partners by downplaying escalation, while at other points using extremely incendiary language about destroying infrastructure. Because of these shifts, from threats of intense military action to claims that progress is near or de-escalation is possible, many observers describe his public messaging as erratic or inconsistent. What impact has this caused, both domestically and internationally? In the domestic political arena, critics argue his rhetoric undermines trust because voters and political opponents see dramatic swings in messaging and objectives. This can fuel perceptions that decision-making isn't predictable or grounded in clear strategy. Reporters know that economy and public confidence can suffer when leaders seem inconsistent on matters like war timelines, energy markets, and security. International and diplomatic impact of what he has said so far. Aggressive language like Stone Age threats alarmed foreign governments, including some US allies who have publicly distanced themselves or criticized the rhetoric. Leaders of countries involved or neighboring the conflict have called for diplomacy and pushed back against language that many consider inflammatory. Iran itself and its officials have rebuffed the threats, pointing out Iran's long civilization and cultural history, suggesting such rhetoric strengthens Iranian resolve. Broader strategic consequences. The markets, especially oil prices, have reacted sharply to Trump's statements, showing how volatile or dramatic rhetoric can have real impacts, economic impact. Opponents of the conflict use perceived inconsistency to argue that the US lacks a coherent exit strategy or practical framework for long-term peace. So, Trump's Stone Age comment was a dramatic threat of severe military action intended to put pressure on the Iranians. Many observers view his language as inconsistent with other statements about war goals and timelines, leading to questions about clarity and credibility. This inconsistency affects both public perception at home and international confidence in US leadership, with diplomatic, economic, and strategic implications. Now, as we all know, as of today, Iranian bridges have been bombed. Key infrastructures have been destroyed today, which means that the bombing of those infrastructures started before the deadline that Donald Trump gave. Donald Trump gave the ultimatum. The Israelis started the bombardment before the time frame that Trump gave, which means that the collusion between these two countries are well established, and they launched over 90 strikes on Iran's Karg Island oil terminal. 90 strikes on that island, and that Karg Island is serving is like serving the Iranians 50% of their petrochemical products. Now, the Israeli strike also killed Majid Kademi, the IRGC's intelligence chief, and the IRGC has vowed a major retaliatory strike in response. Meanwhile, we see that this war is expanding. It is now involving the Saudi air defense intercepting missiles, and Kuwait and UAE reported drone strikes on their facilities. And the drone from Iran struck a home in Iraqi Kurdistan, killing 2 people. Now, where the world is much more concerned is about the nuclear power plant at Bushehr. The IAEA warned that attacks just 75 meters from the Bushehr nuclear plant poses a real danger to nuclear safety. And the most annoying part of this is that the Israelis have a nuclear plant, likewise in the UAE. Now, if the Israelis strike this nuclear plant in Iran, and Iran retaliates by striking the one of Israel, I mean, at the end of it all, who is going to gain? Who is going to be the person that will feel comfortable in this war? The Iranian missiles will be falling on the Israeli power plants, nuclear power plants. The one in Iran will be struck also by the Israelis. People in the Middle East are going to suffer for this. At the end of the day, they will now start asking, why were they fighting this war? Of what benefits have they been fighting this war? I mean, Iranians have shown that they can shoot barrage of missiles, drones. How careless can these leaders be of not wanting to understand that people's lives, millions of people's lives are at stake? Please, I would like to have your thoughts and what you feel about this current event happening right now in the comment section. Please, I want to know what you think. Come in as a historian, come in as an international um, um, affairs happening. Just come. I want to know what you think about this current event. Where do you think it is going to lead to? Because what I'm saying is Armageddon. Thank you. My name is Joe Agafie, and I'll be back with more news and information for you. Thank you, and have a great day ahead of you.